The Warriors, they were handed their third straight loss last night, this time at the hands of the red-hot Clippers. The Warriors, they have only 4 wins in their last 16 games here. And at this point, the Warriors' struggles, they've been well documented, Richard. How can the Warriors salvage their season?
Well, again, it's about getting healthy, right? And when I say healthy, it means getting all of your players on the court.
Okay.
Gary Payton second, who was a huge defensive guy. That's what they've been missing, a lot of point of attack defense at the top, not having Draymond for a large portion of this season now. So there's been a bunch of things that have all gone into this pie, and to me, they're still within reach. So, again, you look at it after January 1, you look at it after Christmas Day, you get into that February, that late January stretch. I think they can make some noise, but they got to get everybody healthy. They got to get everybody on the court. That's my opinion.
And reach of what?
And reach of the playoffs.
I mean, but is that salvaging their season? Them making it? Hold on. Is that salvaging their season?
Are you asking me a question?
Stay with me. No, it was like a question mark, explanation mark.
So,
salvaging what? Like, because their standard is winning the championship.
Sure.
So that's the only way that they can actually salvage.
And salvaging the dynasty, keeping the core together. You
Not
don't
just
want those
making the playoffs.
based off of their performance.
Well, and to your point, Draymond Green is a huge part of that. So let's bring back in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, into the conversation. Woj, when is the earliest you'd expect Draymond Green to be back playing this season?
Malika, certainly it's been left open-ended with what's obviously been called an indefinite suspension. But in talking to people around this situation, around the league, I think there's an expectation that you probably wouldn't see Draymond Green until probably at least the first of the year on the court again. That would be 9 games from the beginning of suspension until the Warriors play their first game in January. And that's assuming, things go as they hope they do. And Green meets the benchmarks, certainly, that are going to be put in front of him here. The Rudy Gobert suspension was 5 games. And, this could ultimately take him, if not double that, maybe just inside of it.
Okay, so if we're looking at still quite a few games here for Draymond Green, Perk, who needs to step up for the Warriors that you're looking at here?
The guy that's walking up and down the sideline, and Steve Kerr, because now he got to elevate his game, right? Like, what adjustments are you going to make? We saw the adjustment against the Clippers as far as putting Andrew Wiggins on the bench and starting Jonathan Kuminga, and I got Brandon Pods, okay? Yeah, that's his name. But at the end of the day, here's the thing, right? He got to make adjustments.
Yeah.
We heard Steph talk about the fabric, right? The old fabric, their remedy, what they used to doing. Now he got to switch it up. Now he has to get into his bag and show the world what he's capable of doing and leading these guys into winning basketball games.
Well, which I think a question that a lot of folks have is whether or not the Warriors are going to be looking to do this from within with the pieces they already have, or are they going to be looking around to add to their roster to try to dig themselves out of this hole? What more can you tell us on that front?
Yeah, I know a few general managers who've, lobbed calls to Mike Dunleavy Jr. In the last few days. And a lot of teams are starting to talk. They're starting to trade ideas about what interest they have in certain players. This is going to be an interesting trade deadline. I think there's so many teams right now who think they're in position to be pretty good. And then the teams who are at the bottom of the standings, they are going to put a great premium on giving up some of their players because they don't want to look like Detroit looks right now. They don't want to look like San Antonio does. And so I think the asking price for good players at this trade deadline, like often, is going to be high. But I think Mike Dunleavy and Golden State, I think they're going to be very open to try to improve this team. And listen, when you are trying to still find ways around Steph Curry to put a team around him that allows him to compete for a championship. And, the one thing about Joe Lacob, he doesn't like to retreat. He's not looking to take a step back. And I think there's going to be a lot of difficult decisions for Mike Dunleavy Jr. and this Golden State organization as they get closer to the deadline because they need production out of their key players. And so I think they're going to be very open-minded. And certainly there's a lot of teams poking around the Warriors to see what they might be willing to do. But that starts to develop as we get into January and obviously closer to the trade deadline in February.
Well, look, the one thing to answer your question, don't forget the Lakers went from the play-in. Don't forget the Miami Heat went from the play-in and went on to get to the NBA Finals. So that's
after they made trade.
Yes, agreed. But my point is that those two teams went on from the play-in at the early point of the season.
They got rid of the negative energy and got some great energy, and they made the playoffs.